And on October 7th, Tal Haimi, a 41-year-old father of four, was abducted by Hamas as he was fighting the terrorists who had infiltrated their kibbutz in Nir Yitzhak. For weeks, his family held out hope that he would return. His wife, Ella, was pregnant with their fourth child. But in December, their worst fears were realized when the IDF notified the family that Tal was murdered by Hamas and his body held by the terrorists in Gaza. Joining us today via Zoom is Udi Goren, Tal's cousin. Udi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So talks for the release of the hostages were largely stalled the past several weeks. Now there is renewed hope, a new deal on the table. Can you share with us what you're feeling right now, upon hearing that the deal could see the release of all the 120 hostages and of Tal's body?
It's this continuous roller coaster we've been on for the past 8 months, and more so in the past 6 months since the end of the first deal. What can I say? I'm very hopeful. I am very hopeful that this nightmare would end, that we could go back to our lives, that we could go back to our families, that we could begin rebuilding our families, communities, and just be something other than the hostage families.
And can you maybe tell us a little bit about Tal? What was he like as a person?
Sure. He was a very kind and gentle person. He was kind of timid, kind of shy. He wasn't the first person you'd notice when he would walk in the room, but he was always there to lend a hand. He was a civil engineer. He was very good with his hands. He was the one that people always would call to help fix something or do something around the house. He was a great father and husband and son and grandchild and a member of the kibbutz, very much a part of the community. He would wake up early to see his kids before he goes to work. He would make sure he'd come back at time to see them before they go to bed and spend time with them. He was a family person, and he's very much missed.
And you've been very active in speaking out and trying to keep the issue of the hostages on the top of the agenda, both here in Israel but also abroad. Do you feel that this is an issue that has received the necessary support of the world?
I would say, sadly, that what I've learned is that everything is political. Everything. It doesn't matter how important the topic is, how important, how the grave significance something may have. Everything at the end of the day is political. And I think that there are a lot of allies that Israel has that definitely care about the hostages, definitely care about the future of Israel. And at the same time, they have their own interests and their own agendas and their own internal affairs. And, at the end of the day, my only expectation is of my own government. These are the people I vote for. These are the people that are responsible for representing me. And these are the people who are supposed to bring the hostages back.
Ella, Tal's wife, has since given birth to their fourth son. I have to ask, how is she? How is the baby doing, of course, under these terrible circumstances?
Well, luckily, Ella gave birth to a healthy boy who seems to be doing fine so far. Ella is a fighter. She's remarkable. Having no home to go to, they're displaced. They live near Eilat. The entire kibbutz is displaced, and they all live there in a kibbutz near Eilat. Luckily for them, they still remain as a community, which is a big thing in supporting them. But at the end of the day, there's no replacement to being at home and being, in your own environment. And luckily, she's a very, very strong woman, and she knows she has to do it, if not for her, for the kids.
All right. Well, Udi, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and let's hope that we'll be able to bring the hostages home.
Thank you.